All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Talking some hoops. Tuesday, 9 games. Big boy qualifier out there, Rio. My man, I see you in there. Good luck tonight. Take that puppy down. Take a trip out to Arizona by me. It would be great. For sure, good luck in that. Pretty fun slate, I think. Q-tags, pretty important ones, of course, like usual. Ben in here like usual. Lachlan, Go Collect, Pair Buy, Wins a Lot. Sean Sullivan, Lone Star, Big Marley, what's going on? Evans in here. Richie Smalls, Jasmine, the man, the woman, Sean Sullivan, Marquis, Jake. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Jordan, if I missed you, Michael. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Hope everybody's day is going well. Rio, your day's got to be going well. Excited for this ticket. What's going on this Tuesday afternoon?
Yeah, going good. Just put up the slate plan right before we went live. We had a really good night last night in the NBA streets. Yeah, a lot of big winners. I know I voiced some frustration to you in Discord the other night about some late swap stuff that kind of did not go my way, but I'm not kicking myself too much about it. Been really close these last couple of weeks, but yeah, feeling pretty locked in. This is a great slate. I'm really looking forward to talking about it. Appreciate everybody wishing me good luck and all the positive energy for my my first attempt at the live final tonight in the big qualifier. So yeah, I appreciate that from all you guys.
Oh, yeah, going to be a good one. You're going to take that puppy down. If you got to sweat, definitely let everyone know. We'll be in the Discord cheering you on. What's going on, James? Best join on YouTube. Hey, we appreciate that, Michael. We do our best. Appreciate the like button as always. And if you do want to join us at the Nation, PGA in full force, no better guys. Hoop Tambo in the business coming off monster. I mean, Hoop wins at every sport he touches. PGA, though, on Thursday. MMA going on. We still got plenty of weeks in a row. Hoop ships that again. NBA, of course. Rio's absolutely been crushing it. Plenty of members yesterday crushed it as well. NHL with Nades. Hey, before you know it, MLB is going to be back too. We, of course, have you covered there as well. If you want to join, make sure to use that promo code HOOP15 to get 15% off. Why pay full price when you can get 15% off? Try us out weekly, monthly, 6-month, or annual. And if you do join any of those packages, but the weekly gets you in the Discord as well, which is a big piece of our content. No better price, no better content. Give us a try again, as low as $25 for the week if you want to. A lot of these people in the YouTube chat, all in the Discord as well, cheering each other down. And like Big Marley said, when Rio's sweating it later, we'll be in there sweating it with them. Jake's excited for MLB season. I am too, but I will say, Jake, Rio, you got to agree, right? NFL, NBA, MLB, it takes a third seed, or what do you say?
Yeah, it's got its ups and downs. I mean, it's nice to have a lot more free time throughout the day, but yeah, it's not the same. I can't sit down and watch a baseball game the same as I can a football or basketball. So yeah, I agree with you there.
For sure. But I will say for DFS, I mean, some of the people who really, really good at MLB and DFS, it's so easy in the fact of, all right, who you stack, at least for me, who am I stacking a 5-man stack, pick 2 pitchers and figure it out, at least like the game theory wise and just the brain that way. It's a fun DFS sport to build. NBA though, I like the late swap. It's Friday. We'll touch on that. No late swap on Friday. They're going to mess with that. But the fact of lineups locked in, they're good to go. I like that part. However, in NBA, I don't know, Rio, if you want to talk about that, but I'm not excited for it personally.
Nah, I'm not that excited for it. I know that there's pros and cons to both sides of it for sure. I think you'll be catering to a lot more casual people, but yeah, I don't know. There's some up and downs for people that play big money every night. They have the ability to lose a lot of money versus the casual who I don't know, they can't afford to get zeros on slates and guys missing. I think that the pros, people that are playing thousands of dollars a night, can afford that a lot more. So you might end up actually losing some of the fan base that you think you're catering towards. I think late swap is the best for NBA. I hope that they keep it around. I hope that this is not a thing to stay. I've actually not even minded these broken up slates like the ones we have tonight. Like I don't mind having the games in an hour long window or hour and a half, whatever it is.
100%. I guess, yeah. I don't have too much more to add. It'll be interesting what it does. I mean, whatever DraftKings makes more money on is the decision they'll go with. It's business, so I get it that way. Will be interesting what happens. I do love this, though, Jake. What am I talking about? I see you say ho in here, and I didn't read the full thing. However, I do love day baseball and night baseball. I still haven't read it all. Come on, Jake. I pulled it up. That's the best thing. NBA, it's only at night. Baseball, 10 a.m. here sometimes watching ball, playing slates all throughout the day. Jake, I hope that wasn't too inappropriate and gets us kicked off Twitter. Bobby's in here as well. But, hey, let's lead into this slate. Like you said, 9 games on DK. There is 11 on the night, though. They split up the slate. Only 7 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern today. You have to worry about it on DraftKings and FanDuel. Then if you want to play the night slate, you want the showdown content at 10 Eastern, I'll be in the streets as well. We have the showdown content, a lot of success there. But I love it. I wish they always did this. Of course, sometimes it's a 7, 8. You can't do it. I say keep late swap. Break up slates that are clear as day like this. FanDuel DK, I think, did it right today. 1 hour, take a break. You can play the night slate if you do want. But I say we get right into it. Any broad slate overview, stars and scrubs, balanced build, how I see it, definitely I think it's going to be balanced. Some clear chalk, slow-mo, DeJounte Murray. I think those are the main 2 guys. The Wolves definitely going to be pretty popular. What do you see? Broad slate overview before game by game.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's definitely a mid-tier type slate tonight. You have Luka and Giannis up top, 11.5, 12K. I mean, Luka, we'll talk about it when we get there, but not the greatest matchup for him. Giannis in a game with a 14-point spread, very likely to blow out, so you might not get full run from him. We got some really good games with some big totals in the middle of the slate that we'll definitely get to. The injury news, like you mentioned, Karl-Anthony Towns got ruled out, so we'll have some value there, but I'm definitely thinking it's going to be more of a mid-tier type build, but I do agree with what W. German said here. I agree 100%. With it being March, towards the end of the season, you're dropping late swap. It's
the worst time.
Yeah, worst possible
time. 100%. Couldn't agree more with that. And, bro, Rio, this man, Jake, just said he tried to say how, but his autocorrect is messed up. That's all I got to say with that. Come on, Jake. First game of the night. Come on, Jake. Dallas Mavericks, Cleveland Cavaliers, 232.5 total. Cleveland, 4.5-point favorites. Injury news in this one, pretty much irrelevant on this slate. Ty Jerome, nothing matters when it comes to injuries. You talked Luka at 12K. I think Stars and Scrubs is contrarian. If you want Luka, you're going to get him pretty low owned. Jared Allen playing good ball. D. Mitch, Garland, Mobley. Definitely more interest on the Cavs side for me. In terms of ownership, pretty much Jared Allen, I think, is going to get only the one that's going to get some. Center's pretty solid today, though, but I think it's pretty much Allen or nothing in terms of ownership. I don't mind a D. Mitch, a Garland, something like that, though. How do you see this game?
Yeah, this is going to be a really competitive game, close spread, pretty decent total. Mavericks defense has been pretty good post trade deadline over the past 5 games since they've gotten PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, their top 4 in the league in defensive rating. Obviously, we know Cleveland, one of the best defensive teams all season long, kind of been a team to avoid in DFS tonight. A little bit of a different story when you have guys like Luka and Kyrie Irving who can always go off for a big game, but this is probably one of the tougher tests to date for Luka. Cavs top 5 in DVP versus point guards this season. They're top 2 pick and roll defense as well, which is kind of Luka's game. They're a little bit more vulnerable to ISO scorers. Luka's top scorer in the league in isolation. So that's kind of the upside case for him. You're definitely going to be getting him at really low ownership, probably one of the lower ownerships we'll see Luka at all season long. Just with the state of the slate, with the matchup, he's not projecting as good as you need for somebody at 12K. So if you want to get over the field, play 5-10% of him in your MME stuff, you're probably going to be over the field there. I probably won't be getting to him in my single entry stuff or very much in 20 max stuff. And then Kyrie Irving, 8.7K is kind of same boat as Luka. I guess the price tag is really good for him, and if Luka does get shut down, you're going to have to see Kyrie Irving pick up the pace offensively. They do have a pretty solid team total, 114. So Kyrie's in play at 8.7K. Don't love it, though. I think the last person you're considering on the Dallas side of things, PJ Washington, but nothing really stands out for him. Much more interested in this Cleveland side of things. Not really in Donovan Mitchell, though. He's been seeing his role get cut down a little bit. Could be largely due in part to him returning from an injury last game, played 36 minutes, just had a really, really bad game. But I think a lot of it has to do with Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, who are two pretty big usage guys. They're no longer on the minutes restriction, so kind of taking off some of the upside from a ball handling and usage perspective of Donovan Mitchell. I'm much more interested in these big men, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. Jared Allen's been, he's been really consistent all season long. He's really cheap. This is a really good spot. Been attacking the Mavericks with opposing centers all season long. They're bottom 8 in DVP this season versus centers. He looks really good in our ceiling rankings as well. He's hit 5x 52% of the time, 6x 30% of the time, and 7x 17% of the time at this current price tag. So he looks really good. But Evan Mobley, $200 cheaper, much lower ownership, and power forward eligible. I think that he's a pretty solid pivot. I mean, this is essentially the same play as Jared Allen, but he's cheaper and different position. He's coming in with a third of the ownership. Mavericks are bottom 5 in DVP to power forward, so I think you could gain some leverage there. Going Mobley over Allen, I would probably be max one of those two. And then Darius Garland, he's okay at 6.8K. Ball handling role is kind of back to normal. 7 minutes of touch time last game, 24% usage rate, around 30% assist percentage. So he's a solid option at 6.8K, but I don't love it.
Gonna have a better breakdown, man. I got nothing else to add. Mobley, solid. I still think Allen's ownership will be in check enough where if you like him, play him. The max one, like you said, you don't think, yeah, probably on this 9 game. Or if it was a smaller slate, like I don't think they really eat into each other enough where like the upside's limited as much. But on this slate, at the prices, I do think you're right. There's other spots I'd rather go to hit the max ceiling. Probably like 6 games, 5 games, I'd be fine with it. But yeah, great breakdown. Agree with everything you said. Kyrie revenge game says go collect. Everyone loves the revenge and the birthday narratives out there. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate, Brooklyn Nets, Orlando Magic, 212 total, very low. Orlando 9-point favorites. Important injury news in this one, though. Paulo was a midday downgrade with an illness. Jonathan Isaac out. I didn't see it. I saw you put it in the chat. Was it really bad? I didn't see the designation for Isaac, Rio, but I saw right when he went down, you said he can't catch a break. So what was it?
It looked like a knee-to-knee thing, so it could have been a bone bruise, but yeah, I'm not sure. Anything knee injury-wise for Jonathan Isaac is not good. He's dealt with that his whole career, so hopefully he can get back to being healthy again, but that's just really bad timing for him.
Yeah, and then we also got on the other side, important news, Cam Thomas is out and Ben Simmons is out. Yesterday they played the Grizz, blew them out. Schroeder, I think, is very interesting. All the starters played 30 minutes. Schroeder got, 28 minutes. I think these guys are strong plays, especially Schroeder. 29% usage rate last game. Slide in the starting lineup. My question for you, Kyle Anderson or Dennis Schroeder, if you had to pick one. Pretty much the same price. Obviously different positions. Of course, you can play them both. As Tambo said, my lineup doesn't come preloaded or whatever his saying is. However, both are definitely chalky. So which chalk would you rather eat between Schroeder and Anderson if you had to pick? Then break down this game.
I would probably rather eat the Kyle Anderson chalk. Just a better matchup, better spot for him. I mean, the matchup is not terrible for Dennis Schroeder, which I'll break down in a second. But yeah, I think I just like the upside and I guess like the upside and downside floor for Kyle Anderson a little bit better than Dennis Schroeder.
I will say he will be, for everyone out there too, he will be more popular. I think Slow-Mo probably the highest on the slate right now. News can change a little bit, but both are going to definitely get ownership. But I like it. Keep going.
Yeah, for sure. They'll both definitely be popular. I think that you could get away from Dennis Schroeder because we've seen him kind of – I mean, his role has been very up and down with this Nets team. It was really good last game. Like you said, 29% usage rate. He had a big ball handling role as well, 6.3 minutes of touch time, which is really good. This Magic defense – pretty solid all season long, but they are a bottom 5 pick and roll ball handling defense. So if Dennis Schroeder is going to have the ball in his hands a ton, I think that the floor is pretty safe for him. But actually, no, I scratched it. I think that the upside is pretty good for him, but the floor has been really low for him. Probably a lot safer from a minutes perspective with no Ben Simmons, with no Cam Thomas tonight. So I don't think that he's a terrible value at all. I think I'll probably be around the field on Dennis Schroeder. But he's really the only one I'm really looking to on the net side of things. I think that Dorian Finney-Smith is kind of interesting at 4K with no Ben Simmons tonight. He should be pretty low owned. I'm seeing single-digit ownership on him. He's got 9 rebounds in back-to-back games. Should be out there a ton for his defense on Paolo Banchero tonight if Paolo does play. So I don't think that Dorian Finney-Smith is the worst play on the board. And then Lonnie Walker, last guy I mentioned on the Nets. He's just a really, really high upside guy that's going to be coming off the bench. Could see more minutes with this team. They're going to be missing an offensive weapon in Cam Thomas. So I think that Lonnie Walker could kind of fill that role a little bit coming off the bench. But he won't be sneaky at all. I'm seeing around 15% on him. And then on the Magic side of things, I'm not really looking to get into any of these guys. Not because the Nets are great defensively. They're just going to be pretty healthy tonight. They have all their point guards, Suggs, Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz available, which is going to take a lot of the upside of usage standpoint from Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner. So, and the Nets, their defense has been really vulnerable to three-point shooters, where the Magic, they don't really have any, lights out three-point shooters. They're like one of the biggest rim scoring teams from a volume standpoint in the league. So yeah, I just don't really see the upside for any of these Magic guys tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's pretty much Schroeder. I know a lot of people, Evan, Lonnie, Andrew, Lonnie, you mentioned them. I think he's fine, but I mean, 9-game slate with a good amount of Q tags. I feel like some value, like some of these Q tags, someone might be out, someone better at 3.9 or cheaper, already in a mid-tier build kind of thing. Like, I'm not really going to go up to the Lukas, the Giannis's. I think he's fine, but I don't see myself getting to too much Lonnie Walker myself. Schroeder's the guy, though. What about? I think Cam Johnson's fine too. What did you say about him? Just fine.
I didn't mention him. Yeah, I don't really love it just because he's a catch and shoot guy. Magic or they don't play any help off defense. I think that it's a little bit tough for him to get some offense going in this one, unless he gets there from a rebounding standpoint. But yeah, I don't love the spot for Cam Johnson in particular.
Fair enough. Yeah, definitely not a game I like much. No Orlando, Schroeder pretty much or bust on the Brooklyn side. We'll keep it rolling. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Appreciate that like button. Helps us out a ton. Subscribe button does as well. 7 p.m. Eastern, Golden State Warriors, Washington Wizards, 243 total. Golden State big favorites at 10.5. Golden State side, Andrew Wiggins is out today. Clay probably going to slide into the starting lineup. Washington side, Denny Abdia is questionable. Missed the past 2 games. Pretty big news there. Koulibaly's out. Shamet and Kispert are questionable too. Okay, so Abdia, Shamet, Kispert questionable. Koulibaly out. Definitely, I'll throw it to you. Definitely start with the Washington side. I know pretty big dogs, but like Kuzma, Tyus Jones, Abdia, even if he plays, do you think he'd be on a minutes restriction? Those are the main guys I'm looking at in this one. And then Clay starting in the sliding into the starting lineup, I think picks up a little steam too. But I mean, he fits the mid-tier bill, but there's a lot of guys in this range. Like, he's not going to be Kyle Anderson chalky or Schroeder chalky, but he's definitely going to get some ownership. So that's how I'm seeing it. What do you see in this one?
Yeah, this game is it's okay. I don't love it. Both these teams are kind of improving on defense, which is kind of crazy to think about. The Wizards have been a team that's been pretty awful all season long, one of the worst defensive teams all season. They're getting a little bit better in the last month or so. The Warriors have been great defensively in the last month. They are top 8 defensive rating in this month, so I don't really love these Wizards guys unless we do get news that Kispert, Shamet, and Avia were out. If Avia is in, I think that you kind of can X out these guys. But if all 3 are out, then I think we might be looking at like a Johnny Davis start possibly. I mean, he's just been a really low usage guy and a really low fantasy point per minute guy, so I wouldn't go too overboard with it. But he's only 3.6K and small forward eligible. But yeah, I mean, Kuzma is always like the high upside option. He's pretty cheap, 7.4K. The usage has been coming up as well with the seam thin. I think Jordan Poole is kind of in play as well. If you want to get into the revenge narrative stuff, I mean, he's had a pretty solid role coming off the bench. 2 of his last 4 games surpassed 40 DK points in 2 of those games, and he has a 27% usage rate off the bench in his last 4 games. And then on the Warriors side of things, they're going to be getting Chris Paul back, like you said. No Andrew Wiggins tonight, so we'll likely see Klay Thompson slide to the starting lineup. Yeah, I don't know. This is a better spot for guys that are going to be scoring around the rim. It's a really good spot for Steph Curry tonight. The Wizards are bottom 3 in DVP to point guards. Not really too sure how the Chris Paul return is going to affect him, like his role. We did see earlier in the year where his usage was kind of down. The assist numbers were down with Chris Paul while they shared the court together. But I think, even in like 20 to 24 minutes out of Chris Paul, I don't think it's going to affect him too much. So he's still got really big upside at 9.5K. Going to be really low owned. Kuminga's upside and his role has come down a lot. So now we're looking to him. Theoretically, this is a great spot for Draymond Green as a starting center for the Warriors. But he's not really the prototypical type center, not going to be taking a ton of shots around the rim or just a ton of shots in general, but he does have multi-stat upside. So I think that he's in play. Maybe you can fall into a double-double or get close to a triple-double. He could pay off the 6.4K price tag, but I don't love it. And then Clay, I'm not really looking to go there tonight. The Wizards, surprisingly, have been pretty good against three-point shooters, against catch-and-shoot guys. That's where Clay's going to get pretty much all of his damage done. So I'd much rather be looking to the guys that are going to be scoring around the rim: Curry, Draymond, Kuminga, I guess, if you want to go there, Pods even, but not too excited about this game in general.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think there's any merit in what Newscrasher said? Kuminga, does Clay space the floor more and just open up more space for Kuminga? You think it's maybe smaller sample? I know the minutes have came down a little bit from what he was playing a little earlier. Thoughts on Kuminga and Clay starting, what it does?
Yeah, I mean, there was a narrative earlier this season where you couldn't play Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga alongside of each other just because their games are, I get, kind of similar. Obviously, Andrew Wiggins a little bit older, less athletic than Kuminga at this point of his career, but they're very similar in their player archetypes. I think it makes sense that Kuminga does play better alongside Clay, where Clay is just going to be standing off in the corner, moving around a lot, trying to get open from three. So yeah, I think that there is something to that.
Yeah, cool. I like that. Good call out there, Crasher. Appreciate you as well. Takedown. Not sure. You said thank you. Not sure what I did, but I appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate that as well. G. Kiefer, and he's wishing you a good one. You got this tonight, Rio. You got what? Steph. All right, give me a percentage. I don't know. Probably not many, if any, are playing the queue and watching this and taking notes on you. But what percent of chance do you think you got Steph on that team?
Less than 2.
Oh, less than 2. All right. I like Steph today. I like that shout that you had on him. I'm feeling something with Steph, but don't play him because of me. Less than 2 means you're not playing Steph. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on this. Do you have your lineup built already? Obviously, a lot with news changes, but do you have a core guys that you already know I'm playing, these 4, these 3 for sure, X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, I have a general idea. I think I'm kind of already starting to build. I usually wait pretty close to lock as I can to start to get all my stuff up. Just want to get the best possible, most updated projections. But yeah, I think
you got 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, I got a general idea.
Yeah, I figured you did. I'd ask though. Let's keep it going. Next game, Philadelphia 7. Or no, hold on. I'm gonna go to this game. Your Utah Jazz and the Atlanta Hawks, the game of the night. I have a feeling some of these pieces that are on your team are going to be in this one. 238 total. Hawks 1.5 point favorites. It's not only because Rio's a diehard Utah fan, not diehard, but a big Utah fan. Great game environment, close spread. And on the Atlanta side, he's going to be playing probably some Hawks. No Trey, no Okongwu. DeJounte going to be very popular for sure. Just such a great game environment, though. I'll let you take it away. Start with the Hawks side, though. It's definitely going to be more popular, but definitely talk about Utah as well.
Yeah, for sure. I could spend a lot of time talking about this game. But, I mean, this one just really – it checks all the boxes tonight in a game that I want to get exposure to in a lot of my lineups. If you were to draw out a three-sided or whatever, 3-circle Venn diagram, then this game would be in the dead center of it. I mean, you have teams that are terrible defensively. They play fast and pace, and they have, I would say, above average to great offenses if you wanted to consider them. I mean, this game environment is just the nuts tonight. You have the Hawks, who have been terrible all season long defensively. I'll highlight some of the stuff quickly, but I mean, you can kind of get a general idea. They've been terrible everywhere. Bottom 3 D rating, bottom 2 rim defense, bottom 4 3-point defense, bottom 2 transition, bottom 4 pick and roll, bottom 3 catch and shoot, and bottom 3 in offensive rebounding points allowed per game. I mean, you can just pick anybody in the Jazz, have a good game, and they likely will. Jazz are pretty equally as bad defensively. They're dead last in defensive rating in February, dead last in 3-point defense, bottom 2 catch and shoot defense, and dead last in transition defense. So you can start to make a case for this as a game stack. I wouldn't go too overboard with it being a big slate, but two people on each side, I think you could definitely get there. I'll start on the Atlanta side, like you said, but DeJounte Murray, his role has been amazing in the first game without Trae Young. We have a pretty big sample size dating back to last season in games without Trae, but just last game he had 9 minutes of touch time, put up 25, 11, and 9. The usage rate has been great. The matchup is awesome. The Jazz are dead last in DVP to point guards this season. So I don't think I need to tell you guys how great of a play DeJounte Murray is tonight. He'll be definitely popular, but I'm kind of okay eating that chalk because I do think with the current role, the current matchup, he's probably a mid 9K player, and we're getting him at 8.9K. Jalen Johnson played really well last game as well, has 3 straight double-doubles and 6 double-doubles in 6 of his last 8 games. Added some playmaking to his stat line last night as well, last game put up 7 assists against Orlando. Great matchup here. I love firing up Jalen Johnson in fast-paced game environments, which is exactly what we have here. Jazz dead last transition defense, so should give him a pretty good scoring boost upside in this game. Bogdanovic, I made the downside case for Bogdan last game versus Orlando. He kind of got there, I guess. He put up 30 DK points, which was fine at his price tag. I believe he was like 5.6K, 5.7K, something like that. But the Orlando, they were really good with their catch and shoot defense, where the Jazz are complete opposite. Bottom 2 catch and shoot, dead last 3-point defense. I hate to play a guy that's going to be as high owned as Bogdan, who is extremely shooting dependent, but this is probably the best possible matchup for him. So I'll definitely have some. I think he has pretty big upside at 6.3K in this matchup. Saddiq Bey, very similar, good catch and shoot guy, 5.9K, looking at 15 to 16% ownership. And then DeAndre Hunter, another guy that I will continue to play at low ownership. He looks like a really strong pivot to Saddiq Bey. I mean, it's the same spot. He's $600 cheaper, coming with a third of the ownership. He's played 28 minutes in 3 of his last 4 games, scored no less than 29.25 DK points in all 4 of those games, and he's giving you pretty good leverage off of Bogdan and Bey. Hopefully we can get a 30-minute game out of DeAndre Hunter, because if we do, I think that he could absolutely smash. And then on the Jazz side of things, Lauri Markkanen, really good spot for him. Going to come with ownership, seeing around 16% on him. But he has all the scoring upside in the world here. Had a pretty good bounce back game versus San Antonio. He was struggling a little bit going into the All-Star break, but he shot 5 of 8 from deep. Atlanta cannot defend catch and shoot scorers. Lauri is the top point per game catch and shoot scorer this season. Hawks also bottom 3 in DVP to small forward, so I really like the spot for him. Colin Sexton in a pretty good spot as well. Probably going to see a lot of DeJounte Murray defensively, I would assume. But DeJounte has not been the same defender as season before. He's kind of preserving a lot of his energy for offense, especially with Trae Young out. So I think that Sexton could get there. Would not expect a lot of minutes out of Sexton, though. He's been kind of topped out at like 27, 28 most games. I do like the spot for John Collins, though. He's been playing really well lately. Put up a double-double in 4 of his last 6 games, 31+ in 5 of those games, and even topped out at 44 DK points in one of those games. Hawks are bottom 4 pick and roll man defense, bottom 9 in DVPs to center. I think that he could have a pretty solid game here at 6.3K. Clarkson has a really big role off the bench as the 6th man. Played 32+ minutes in 6 straight, so I like him. Having shooting guard small forward eligible as well is really big. And then Keontae George, I think he's going to go overlooked tonight, 5.7K. We've seen what the upside can be for him. Has not shot the ball great. Kind of gone ice cold from deep in the last 2 games, shot 3 of 10 from deep in those 2 games, but this is a pretty solid bounce back spot for him. I think that he's going to get Bogdanovic on defense, who is no good. So I like him at 5.7K, should be really low owned. And then last one I'll mention is Taylor Hendricks. I think about 26 minutes is probably the ceiling cap for him from a minute standpoint. But he's taken 5 3-pointers in both of his games that he started, only made 1 in all those games. But if he gets a couple more of those to fall, I think that we could kind of see a little bit more of a ceiling game out of him. He's a really, I don't want to say good defender, but he's got really good steals and block upsides, which is kind of what they drafted him for. So I think that he could have a pretty solid game at 4.1K and going to be pretty low owned compared to where he was last game. I feel like I've been talking for a while, so I'm going to go on mute for a second.
Bro, that was insane. Hell of a breakdown indeed. That I don't even know. It's hard for me even to add up or like to follow that up. So I'll give you get some water, get some that. I'm going to fire a couple of questions back at you because I would be doing injustice if I even broke down any player game on that. So okay, take a breath. Got it. I got a couple questions for you in this game. It is the game of the night. Answer these questions. We'll get on to the next one. Long-winded breakdown of your team, though. That was absolutely insane. Minutes limit is right. All right. we got first question: Hendricks or Lonnie Walker? Obviously, a little different positions, pretty similar price though. Go with that.
Chad is killing me. They got some funny comments in there.
Oh yeah, I was dying at those too. And then I was dying at the comments, but about the Venn diagram. But then your breakdown was so good, I actually forgot about that, and I was dying at that. But yeah, I didn't have that on my bingo card when you were talking. You said the 3 circles, so I was about to say Venn diagram, but I was waiting for you. If you put it together, that would have me dying too. But the breakdown got me. Denny's out too.
That.
Okay,
yeah, we just got that
news.
A lot
going on.
Yeah, a lot going on over here.
Important. Hendricks or Lonnie?
Yeah, I think Lonnie's probably got more upside, but the game environment is much worse. I think it really depends on your. I don't know. It kind of depends on your lineup construction, but I think I'll side with Lonnie just because I think the upside is a little bit bigger, and Taylor Hendricks being a rookie, not shooting the ball super well in particular. So, yeah, I'll probably go with Lonnie there.
Someone asked Capella's minutes cap. My guess is around 19, 17 his first 2 games back. What, probably 20, and it's not even the matchup they need him with how small they like. If they're smart, they just match him up with Walker Kessler and they do something like that. But thoughts on the minutes cap? You're not playing him.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking to Capella, but yeah, there's definitely gonna be a minutes cap on him, which is kind of why we've seen Jalen Johnson rebounding take a big spike because he's been getting a lot of the small ball 5. That's another reason why I like DeAndre Hunter because he's been kind of taking over. Yeah, he's been
so low.
Been getting a lot more minutes as like the 3-4, him, Sadiq Bey kind of taking over the 3-4 spot. But yeah, definitely Capella on a minutes limit right now for sure, coming off of the I believe it was an Achilles injury, right? Achilles soreness, something like that.
Maybe. So then I love Jalen Johnson with you. Deontay George, you got cold. Hey, it was just 3 games ago when we were over before the break. He hit 9. Mm-hmm. He can do it for you tonight. I wouldn't be surprised to see your boy in that big lineup. I'm not pressuring on any of these though, Rio. I'm just talking out loud and seeing what your lineup is and if I'm right. But definitely a great game. You always love yourself, Laurie. Bogdan, you like that chalk. Sounds like if you had to pick one of Bogdan, chalk, or DeJounte, what would it be?
I would go DeJounte for sure.
DeJounte.
Yeah.
Jones Brothers really good in college too. Yeah, hoopers for sure. Great game environment, obviously. The DeAndre Hunter low on call. How many? Last question on this one. Any rules / maxes you'd make on either side? Then I promise we're done with this game.
No, we can spend all the time we need to on this one. I love talking about my Utah Jazz and their terrible defense. Usually a rule that I'm looking to make on the Jazz side of things is max 2 of Sexton, Clarkson, and Keontae George. Definitely max 1 Collins and Walker Kessler, and I think that's probably it. I'll probably throw in Chris Dunn with Sexton, Clarkson, and George as well. Max 2 of those 4, and max 1 Collins, Kessler, and then on the Atlanta side of things, I would probably be max 2 of Bogdan, Bey, and Hunter. You could even, if you want to be aggressive, I don't think that max 1 is too crazy, but probably max 2 of those 3. And I think DeJounte and Jalen Johnson are kind of fine where they are.
I love it. G Kai for making another joke. Had to go rewatch that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go rewatch that too to finally get everything. I was dying about Venn diagrams, and then he just kept locking in with a billion different stats, numbers, DVP. Yeah, absolutely insane. But hey, if you want all that info, even when Rio's not on shows, SHIPIT Nation members do get it in the Slate plan. The things he just talked about, that's what he researches. That's the numbers. That's the data he puts in that Slate plan. Top tier, mid tier, lower tier, in the Discord all the time, as long as a lot of other knowledgeable members. Jordan's always in here. A lot of members in the Discord dropping knowledgeable stuff. You can't find a better price, content, projections updated throughout the night, cores, everything you need in DFS to be successful. You can't find a better price and deal in the industry. We have weekly, monthly, 6-month, and annual. And to make it even cheaper, use that code HOOP15, the hottest guy in the industry right now. Golf, MMA, probably going to go for a 3-peat next week. Got his golf stuff on the site coming up as well. Locks on Thursday. ShipItNation.com if you want to join. Get in the Discord for sure if you do join anything but the weekly. Let's keep it going, Rio. Hopefully you had enough time to breathe. This game, none of these games should be as long as that one. Philadelphia 76ers, Boston Celtics. 231 total. Boston big favorite sitting at 12 injuries in this one. Still without Embiid. KJ Martin is questionable for Philly, which means nothing. I see nothing on the Boston side. No injury news in the game usually means no injury news. Big spread usually means not much interest. Pretty much a cross-off for me. What about you?
Yeah, not a ton of interest in this game. I just want to hit on Nguyen's question real quick. Yeah, he's definitely topped out or topped at like 26, 27 minutes. They're just trying to run out all these guards. They don't have enough minutes to throw around. They definitely want to get Keontae George and Clarkson in there. So I think that's where he's topped out. But yeah, this game, give me 1 second. Yeah, Sixers, they've been really bad defensively since losing Joel Embiid. They have been bottom 3 defensive rated team in the month of February, giving up the 5th most 3-pointers per game, 3rd most catch and shoot threes per game this month. Their transition defense has also been pretty bad all season long, where they're bottom 7 in the league. Celtics been great defensively all season long, not really looking to attack them in particular, but the one area that they do give up a good amount of points to is pick and roll ball handlers. Mentioned that the last time we talked about I might have been on the show with Hamwich, but when the Knicks and the Celtics faced off, I was really high on Jalen Brunson because he's one of the top pick and roll scorers from a points per game perspective this season. Tyrese Maxey's kind of up there as well. I don't know where he ranks among the league, but if there was a spot to attack the Celtics with, it would be with the pick and roll ball handlers. So I like Maxey pretty much as the only guy on the Philly side of things. And then on Celtics, Tatum is he's pretty tough for me to get to. I mean, the matchup is kind of fine, but he's just not really flashed a really big ceiling in quite some times. The ceiling rankings number are not that good for him as well. In a really large sample size, we have 32 game sample size with him at this price tag or less. And he's only 6x the current price tag 9% of the time, which is just not going to cut it at 9.8K. I think I'd rather get down to Jaylen Brown with a 2K price difference for the reasons I mentioned about the Sixers being a worse transition defense. He's one of the top transition scorers in the league this season. He showed a pretty big upside last game as well. Kristaps Porzingis has been playing really good, kind of the theme of the slate with a lot of these power forward center eligible guys projecting really well and getting ownership, but he's been playing really well. Sixers allowing 3rd most catch and shoot points per game in February, so I like him as the 3rd best catch and shoot option on the Celtics. And then same for Derek White, same reasons. He's 2nd on the team in catch and shoot points per game. I think somebody pulled up some stats about him performing really well against the Sixers in 3 games this season. I'd have to go way up in the chat to find it, but I think he's topped like 40 points in all 3 of those games. But really, those are the main 3 I'm looking at: Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, and Derek White. I don't think that there's enough upside on Drew Holiday with his team fully healthy. Yeah,
I mean, chat's been on fire too much to go scroll back and find that comment. So we trust it there. Also, great breakdown. I got really nothing to add. I'm fading that game. I'm pretty much fading this net. Depending on injury news, if the Q tags are in this Pelicans Knicks game, I'm fading it. We'll go to Rio about if-then scenarios. But first, timeout. 58 likes, over 220 watching. Takes 1 second, 2 seconds. We appreciate that like button. Helps us out a ton. Hoops on fire. The bosses, I can't get yelled at right now. Need that like button to grow SHIPIT Nation, grow the YouTube channel to continue bringing you guys shows and Rio's great knowledge every single day on this channel. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. It does help us out a ton. Even if you don't join, don't have the money, whatever it may be, just want to be in YouTube, we appreciate that. It's absolutely free. Gets you good mojo into the night. Next game, Rio. Again, what I hinted at, Pelicans, Knicks, 217 total. Pelicans, 4-point favorites. CJ's questionable. Zion's questionable. On the Knicks side, Brunson's questionable. Hartenstein's questionable. If they're all in, easy fade for me. Talk if you have leans on these guys, and then like if some of them are out that you might think are out, what does that change? Because obviously if Brunson's out, is CJ, Zion, you want exposure to this game. If they're all in, I don't want it. Pretty close spread. It is at 7:30, so hopefully we do get it before lock. But yeah, break down this one and any leans on the Q tags and then what they do if they're out.
Yeah, I'll start with the Pelicans side because I think it's a little bit easier to break down. I think that all of these questionable tags with Zion and CJ are likely in. CJ did practice yesterday, missed, he left early the last game he played with the ankle injury, but he practiced. I think that he's probably back tonight, maybe a slight minutes limit, but I would assume he's probably fine, back to normal. Zion, I think that he plays as well. I believe he was at shoot around this morning. So I believe those two guys will be in, which kind of takes away a lot of the upside of the guys that we were playing with the Ingram, the Joe Vals, the Trey Murphy, Herb Jones. Also, Herb Jones, side note, has been playing out of his mind lately. I think he's got like a 78% shooting percentage from three-point range or from catch and shoot range in the past month or so. He's been playing amazingly, and he's a great defender, so I love to see that. But the Knicks guys, a little bit more questionable, on the downside of questionable with the midday downgrades. Jalen Brunson, this is a completely new injury with the neck. I mean, all these guys are just playing huge minutes, so it makes sense to try to get these guys some night off eventually. But I mean, Brunson, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart just been playing as many minutes as they could possibly handle. Brunson's been playing great this month as well. But yeah, if he misses, then we can look to guys like Alec Burks, Miles McBride. Miles McBride has played pretty well in the absence of Brunson, but he got priced up to 4.5K, so I wouldn't think that he's a lock by any means, but I would probably prefer him to Dennis Schroeder, because I know that McBride is probably going to get 35 minutes in this game if Jalen Brunson were to be out. We would see a lot more usage and the DK scoring upside from guys like Josh Hart. He's averages 41.15 DK points per 36 with Brunson off the court. Dante, he's okay, 35.77 DK points per 36, but the Pelicans have been pretty bad versus three-point shooters this season. Precious and Jericho Sims, their numbers look okay. They could do something funky with this lineup, though, if Hartenstein were to miss. There's a chance that we could see Bogdanovic slide in as the 4, and then they move up Precious to the 5, which would, I mean, that make things pretty interesting. We'd see pretty big rebounding upside from Precious, probably a lot more from Josh Hart as well, who's already been rebounding the ball amazingly with Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle out, with Isaiah Hartenstein being on the minutes limit. So the spot could be pretty interesting if both those guys were to miss. I think you're looking to Bojan, Hart, McBride would be the main ones, though.
Yeah, definitely. This game, if Brunson or Hartenstein or somehow both, it definitely would change the slate. And it is at 7:30. Assuming Pelicans guys are in like you think, easy fade. If Knicks guys are in, I'm fading. If they're out, though, hopefully we do get it before lock. Yeah, like the Dante's Harts, what's your breakdown? I definitely agree there. So just say, I guess the Utah Hawks game's at 7:32. So we don't have to worry about that. If somehow the news was late, I assume a good amount of roster spots will still be open for that 7:30 news. But keep an eye on the Knicks. Of course, our projections will be uploaded. Hartenstein's out. Hartenstein will get taken out. Updates will be made throughout the night. 3 games left, Rio. San Antonio Spurs, Minnesota Timberwolves, 223 total. Another big spread. Timberwolves 12.5-point favorites. Injury report in this one. Gobert questionable. Towns is out. So that's kind of what we talked about pre-show. Without Cat, slow-mo going to be very popular, 4.7K. Ants, Conley, Jaden McDaniels, if Gobert plays. Definitely some of these Timberwolves are going to be owned. Spurs side, not so much. Someone asked earlier about Wemby. Touch on him, but I guess touch on Spurs side first because it's going to be quicker, then go to the other side.
Yeah, not too interested in these Spurs guys. Timberwolves, regardless of the injuries, I think they're the top defensive rated team this season. Have not really looked to attack them in DFS. Wemby always has huge upside. He showed it a couple times past 2-3 games, whatever it was. A lot of conversation in the chat in Discord a couple nights ago about Wemby not being a 10K player, which is just ridiculous in my opinion. But I mean, he's got huge upside in any matchup, regardless if it's good or bad. So I think this is probably the one of the few times you're getting him at sub 5% ownership. If you wanted to get over the field with him, I think that totally makes sense. But I don't think I'll be going there in my one lineup tonight. So they're pretty easy to break down. Not really looking to many of the Spurs guys. And then the Minnesota guys, I mean, Anthony Edwards, he already had a really great matchup, and it just got even better now with Karl-Anthony Towns out. I don't have the numbers pulled up with the on-off stuff, but he's obviously going to be see a big increase in usage. Spurs are dead last in DVP to shooting guards this season. And in one game this season that Cat missed, I think Ant went for like 58, had 10 assists in that one. So he's a great spend-up option, 9K. I think that you could play him and DeJounte Murray in your lineup and feel pretty good about it. Gobert is interesting because he's been dealing with this ankle thing for a few games now. Missed last game. We saw Carl Anderson step in for him. If he misses here, then Naz Reid at 5.7K probably steps to the starting lineup. Could be Luka Garza though. min-priced center, which would be really good. But I think that actually, I don't know. They could probably go Luka Garza because I think they would need the size and defense versus
You would definitely be I mean, that'd be interesting for sure.
Yeah. It'd be really hard to get away from a min-price center, but I mean, you don't know. It's the last game or last log time on the slate, so you might get him pretty low owned. So definitely have to keep an eye out or keep our ears open for any news on Rudy Gobert. But yeah, Kyle Anderson's gonna be pretty hard for me to get away from tonight. 4.7K, small forward, power forward eligible. Definitely a spot that I like to spend down for value. Definitely be playing him a ton tonight. He's been really good this season, filling in for Karl-Anthony Towns, filling in for Rudy Gobert. Matchup is totally fine too. So yeah, I'll be looking to Anthony Edwards and Kyle Anderson in this one, and then maybe Nas and Luka Garza if we get Rudy Gobert news out.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. It's the last game. So I will say we're going to touch on Chicago game. Vooch is definitely going to get some ownership at center. So that can be one thing if you have Vooch in a couple other spots and like a Garza does start. Garza can go in and you can upgrade like another scrub to some mid-tier guy or something. Definitely play around with that. If it is like if Nas starts, we always know when Nas does. Garza 3K would be very interesting. I don't even think Gobert's the worst play if he plays too. So I think there's definitely you can have some spots open for the late game. But yeah, that Gobert news is definitely a little interesting. Spurs side, yeah, I wouldn't play. I mean, you can always play Wemby. I don't think you're going to play him on your main team. I rather multiple other guys in the 9K in the mid tier as well. But no one's ever going to say no to Wemby. But probably Wemby or bust. Timberwolves, obviously the slow-mo ants. But that Gobert news is kind of interesting. Are you worried about a blowout, Rio, in this one for any of these guys? Obviously, big spread. But I guess do you try and predict blowouts when you're building rosters too?
Not really. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Spurs have been playing a lot better lately, and with no Karl-Anthony Towns, I think that just kind of increases the likelihood that they could keep the game close. But yeah, I don't really try to predict blowouts, especially when we're talking about guys like Anthony Edwards. He's just in such a good spot. There's definitely certain times when you know a certain guy is like the first one to be yanked in a big blowout, like a Giannis or Damian Lillard or something like that. But I think that Ant is probably still going to get there even in a blowout. So I don't really try to predict it too much. Yeah,
I'm with you. And the only time is like if I'm paying 12K for Luka or Giannis, like if you're paying that much, however, usually in spots like that, like tonight, I mean, their ownership kind of dictates that too. So you can take the ownership discount, flip the roster build, and just because you're worried about a blowout, if it doesn't, you got Giannis at 5%, with part of that being the reason. So these guys, I wouldn't really worry about it too much, though, about the blowout personally. 2 games left on the slate. Definitely one that'll get some ownership, like we just talked about in the Chicago game. Pistons, Bulls, 225 total. Chicago 10.5-point favorites. Nothing really new on the injury report on either side. Bulls definitely going to get some ownership, though. Vooch, DeRozan, Ayo, I think all get a decent bit. Caruso, maybe a little bit. Kobe White. Detroit side, I don't see any ownership going there. I don't really have interest. I mean, how did that last possession, man, in that New York-Detroit game yesterday? I mean, come on, man. What are they doing? But, yeah, hard-fought game yesterday. Healthy team. Prices seem pretty good. They're all going to be low-owned. I guess maybe Cade or bust, but I doubt I even get there. So, yeah, pretty much Chicago side. Talk about Detroit side first, though.
Yeah, I agree. That last possession was a crazy possession.
Both sides. Like, yeah. What are y'all doing?
Yeah, that was wild. The one time that you don't really want the refs to not blow the whistle, they don't, which, you know, it was kind of crazy to just see Asar Thompson get his legs dove into. I don't know if you saw the Monty Williams presser afterwards, but just yeah, he ripped into the referees, just did not hold back at all. I'm assuming he's going to get a really big fine coming his way soon.
I'll have to check it out. I mean, just take care of the basketball, though. Like, get the rebound, chain it. I mean, come on, man. That was all. Yeah. That was bad.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the Pistons, they've been playing a little bit more competitive basketball lately. All season long, they've been a team to attack in DraftKings and fantasy. They've been pretty bad, but in the month of February, they're only bottom 10. You know, bottom 10 is obviously not good, but they were a bottom 2, bottom 3 overall defense this season. Still giving up a ton of points at the rim. They're bottom 7 on the season, bottom 5 this month. But they also are bottom 3 in pick and roll defense, bottom dead last in pick and roll men defense. I think that a guy like Nikola Vucevic, who I'm never too excited about to play, but it changes a lot now that he has power forward eligibility. I mean, he's in a really good spot here. I don't really have anything negative to say about him. The matchup is pretty good for him. 7.8K. He's been playing really well lately, playing a ton of minutes, been very consistent. He's my favorite of the big 3 of the Bulls. I have the same kind of sentiment always with DeMar DeRozan. Really good cash game play. I think he's a terrible GPP play. And if that comes back to bite me and he puts up 55, 60 points, then so be it. But he's just a guy I'm never looking to play, especially at ownership in GPPs. Kobe White, usage has been coming down a little bit. The assist numbers are trending down, but this is a really good spot for him. The shot volume is still there. Pistons are bottom 2 in DVP to point guards this season, so we know that the shot's going to be there. He's a pretty good price tag, 7.4K. Much prefer him to DeRozan, but he's behind Vucevic for me. And then Ayo, like you mentioned, I mean, he's been playing amazing lately, playing a ton of minutes, 39, 41 minutes in back-to-back games, put up 43.75 and 38 DK points in those games. He looks like a really strong value option at 5.4K. We'll get a ton of ownership, but I think rightfully so. He's just been playing really well. And then I'm not looking to play Caruso at chalk. I mean, you could just play DeAndre Hunter at the same small forward eligibility for a fourth of the ownership, which I will definitely be doing. And then on the Pistons side of things, Bulls, they're dead last in catch and shoot. And I mean, by a pretty wide margin, they're allowing the second most 3-point field goals per game in the month of January. Bottom 3 pick and roll man defense as well. So Jalen Duren, 6.9K, I have some interest in him. He's been racking up the boards lately, 16, 18, and 22 rebounds in 3 of his last 7 games, and a pretty solid matchup for him. I don't think I'll get to Cade tonight at 8.1K with, he played a pretty good amount of minutes last night, played 36 minutes when he was supposedly on a minutes restriction or like a, minutes restriction, quote unquote. But with this being a back-to-back, they've really been trying to limit his minutes this season, especially coming off of the injury. So I don't think I'll get there on this big of a slate at 8.1K. Jaden Ivey not playing really great basketball right now, but I guess maybe there's a little bit more upside for him if Cade were to be at all limited. Theoretically, Simone Fontecchio has a good matchup as the top catch and shoot guy on the Bulls, but I think that he's pretty priced up. He's played 30 minutes in all but 1 game since joining the Pistons, but I don't think I'll get there at 4.9K for him. Kind of same thing for Quentin Grimes, catch and shoot guy, but 4.1K seems about right for Quentin Grimes. I don't think that I'll get there tonight either.
Yeah, I'm with you. Eddie asked about it. Like, I don't think he's the worst play, but he got there with stocks. He made a couple threes in the second half. I think there's better value on this slate. Even some of these Q tags could open up better value as well. So I agree with you there. The Ayo is my favorite in that game. Again, I think that Vooch is interesting. Like if Gobert's out, Garza, Nas at center, like if you have 2-3 spots, you can come up with a 3v3 with some news and scenarios in your head. You can get those guys at a fraction of the ownership as if Gobert was out, maybe if Gobert was out pre-lock, and it works like that. So that's probably how I'd use Vooch, but I definitely like Ayo. 1 game left on the slate. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. 240 out there. We appreciate it. Wow, no hat, Zach. Hey, mixing it up, man. Hockey experience. I like that. NHL mullet. I'm trying to get my mullet going. Hockey. That's exactly what I'm doing. So trying to work on that over here, mix it up for you guys. But last game on the night, Charlotte Hornets. Actually, yeah, weekly, monthly, 6-month, annual. SHIPIT.com, and make sure to use that promo code HOOP15. Gets you 15% off all the sports. PGA, NBA, MLB coming up, NHL, MMA this week. Not a great MMA card. I don't know if you looked, Rio. Kind of disappointing, but $299. I don't know if I've seen a better main card, man. I put in the insane. Gelatin Curtis coin flip to start it off. That'll be nuts, but hey, that's in a little bit. Keep it rolling. Charlotte Hornets, Milwaukee Bucks, last game of the night, 220 total. Bucks big favorites at 14. Injuries, Milwaukee Bucks side, Middleton's out. Crowder's going to continue to start. Charlotte side, LaMelo's out. Nothing really changed for the injuries on both sides. Big spread, kind of healthy teams, at least pretty similar rosters as of late. I don't know. Giannis, I probably would play over Luka, I think. I don't know. I'll ask you on that. I think I'll take the 500 savings and go Giannis, and then you do get more time to adjust at 8 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. Still, I don't see myself, Dame, Brooke, Miocic. I think all of them are fine, but there's a lot of other better games. Like, give me that Utah Atlanta game in coin flips over this game, stuff like that. So how do you see it?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I'm definitely on side of Giannis over Luka tonight. But I just did want to mention really quickly. I mean, this Charlotte team, they've been playing really good defense post trade deadline in the first 5 games since they've acquired Grant Williams and Micic, all the other guys that they acquired. They're first in defensive rating over that span. The rim defense has been really good. But I mean, on the season averages, they're bottom 8 rim defense, bottom 7 catch and shoot defense, bottom 8 pick and roll rollman defense. But I mean, man, they've been playing really good defense, and it's you can kind of see that sometimes when teams make trades and they get some new guys, they get rid of some guys. I don't know how PJ Washington was in the locker room, but I mean, this team looks pretty revitalized, and they've been playing really good defense. I'm not sure how long this is going to keep up because they still don't really have the best roster, but yeah, I did just want to touch on that really quickly. Bucks also have been improving defensively. They're top 9 rated defense in February. Rim defense has been really good. Again, kind of going back to their ways of being a 3-point funnel where they were kind of the opposite earlier in the season, allowing the 6th most 3-pointers per game in the month of February. Still a team that gets killed by pick and roll ball handlers. So 2nd worst in the league in points per game allowed to pick and roll ball handlers. But the issue is the Hornets don't really have a true point guard right now. They're kind of mixing in Miles Bridges with some ball handling. Brandon Miller's getting some. Trey Mann is kind of the on paper point guard. Micic has been out there for a little bit more, getting some ball handling role. He actually leads the team in ball handling scoring, or pick and roll ball handling scoring this season, with Bridges and Brandon Miller right behind him. But I mean, Micic, he got talked up a bunch by Steve Clifford last game after the game. So I don't know, maybe they're trying to get him some more minutes. He's kind of reminds me of like Facundo Campazzo in a way, where he's a small European guard that they can kind of do a little bit of everything. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something there at 4K. Micic would definitely make my player pool, but I think he's probably the only one I'm looking to on the Charlotte side. And then on the Bucks side of things, pretty much Giannis and Dame or bust for me. Giannis, he should be able to have his way with this team. That historically this season they've been really bad with their rim protection. Bottom 6 DVP to power forwards this season. He's been a little bit underwhelming in the 3 performances versus Charlotte. Only put up 39.5 and 42.5 in the last 2 meetings, but that was due to blowout. Put up 62.5 in the first meetings, which I think is probably the median outcome for him if we get the full minutes from Giannis tonight. And like I mentioned, the Hornets have been a lot more competitive, so maybe we do see 35, 36 minutes out of Giannis, and I think that he probably has the top 3 highest upside on the slate when given the minutes. That's not really a hot take, but and Dame, he's been coming on, scoring as of late, 42, 49, 54 DK points in his last 3 games. Hornets have been doing a much better job taking away catch and shoot 3-pointers as of late, kind of middle of the pack in DVP versus point guards this season. So I think that he's just an okay option, 8.6K.
Yeah, he seems. I'm definitely not going to call him DeRozan, but like he really hasn't shown. Like, is he going to get you 65? Is he? I don't know. I think he's probably in the 55 range in a good game, which you take 49, 54, 59, 42, 50. I think Dame's definitely fine for 8.6K, but I think I like some of these other guys a little, like DeJounte. I know, yeah, he's chalk hockey, and Chet asked it. Like Jordan said, probably 10K soon. Like he just feels like such a better play. Of course, there's ownership discount, et cetera, but on paper, matchup, game environment, everything, like it's hard to click, at least for me, a Dame over DeJounte. Of course, you can't play them both, though. Would you go Giannis over Luka if you had to pick?
Yeah, 100%.
And then what's Campazzo up to now? Is he overseas? He's overseas playing somewhere?
I think so, yeah. I was actually kind of surprised that he didn't stay with Denver because he fit that team pretty nicely, but he was fun to watch.
He was Dollar Tree Draymond. Like, if he was on your squad, you like him. If not, the dude is so annoying. But, yeah, he was a scrapper. Alvarado, Bav, he was all those dudes. Great slate. Great job, Rio. 9 games. Again, there is 2 games, so it's 11 games tonight. Only on FanDuel DK, 9 games, so just 7 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern. You can get your break. There's a night slate. Good showdown content. Showdown contest. We do have showdown content. Buyer man Rio right here does a little core plays, little slate plan, how he's going to attack it. He ranks his guys as well. Ownership's up there as well. Projections going throughout the night at all over SHIPITNation.com. You can see the showdown tab under NBA to get those. Slate plans up, projections are up, correlations, tools, ceiling rankings, everything you need. Cash report, 4 plays on FanDuel, 4 on DK. You get to see where the chalk is, see where Rio's going tonight. Good luck, my man. Any final words for the people? Good luck, though.
No, not much. Definitely enjoyed breaking down the slate. Feel like I've been talking for a while, so I'm going to let my voice rest, get some food in me. But yeah, thank you to everybody that's sending me the support tonight. Definitely looking forward to getting my first live final seat this season, and be out there in Arizona hanging out with you and your lady, hopefully in a couple weeks. But yeah, thanks everybody for all the support. Yeah, looking forward to the slate.
Yeah, we got to run it back. Last year was Denver. That's where we met. The ladies were there, everything. You got 12. You're coming for first this year. Take the 2 off if he was 12th, if I remember right. Good luck, everybody out there. We'll see some Ship It Nation logos up top. Put it in the Discord, too, in the Ship It channel if you want to get on the Twitter thread as well. Good luck. Like button, subscribe button. We appreciate all of you. Be safe. Have a good night. Good luck, Rio. Good luck, Rio.